Hi, Wilhelmina here. I'm going to tell you the story of my two pigs now that I had in one of my earlier installments. The date that I wrote it was November 26th, 2015. I can't get my darn computer file to scroll up and down with my keypad, so I'll have to make some clicks here and there and hope I don't get lost. Okay, starts out, dear friend. I've just bought two pigs. There's a story behind them, so as Val says, get your popcorn. Around the year 2000, Jerry and I moved back to Nanaimo. We were here for 12 months exactly, but that's another story. We'd been living in North Carolina for 2 years before that, in a place I'd love to tell you about someday, but that's another story. It was such a nice place for us that we made up our minds to stay there forever. But as soon as we decided that, we began to feel homesick for Vancouver Island. So on our next visit home, we were driving around in George's car and we stumbled upon a place in a tiny rural valley to the south of town called South Wellington that was the answer to a gardener's dream. Maybe I'll tell you about that someday. And it was for sale at a price we could afford, and we bought it right there and then. We flew back home, and we sold our North Carolina place. That's another story. And we loaded all our stuff into a huge U-Haul, and we hooked our car on behind, and we drove across the continent. More stories here. Not all of them good. The place we bought here was... Oh, never mind. It's too long of a story for now. But anyway, it was in the country, and we had a back field with small sheds, and the place had to sit empty for a couple of months before we got here. We're here. I'm here now. My brother Terry was already living here. He had moved out from New Brunswick on the East Coast to be close to Mom and Dad when they were getting on. Mom and Dad had moved here to Nanaimo before that to be close to Jerry and me. But never mind. Storylines spread out from me in all directions, like strands in a spider web, and they're all connected to each other. But we have only time today to follow this one strand. Oh, geez, I just scrolled down too far. There we go. Back to the pigs. Terry had a key to our new place, and he saw that we had enough space to raise a pig. So he made up his mind to buy 2 brand new piglets. The season was right for this. And he asked around and he found a source for them. And he planned to put them in our bathtub and have them there for us as a welcome home surprise. As it happened, Jerry and we didn't bother to have a phone in those days, were having such a hard time with our monster rig that we didn't dare stop along the way until we absolutely had to, till our bladders were bursting or our eyelids were falling shut, and we arrived a day early, before Terry had a chance to get the pigs and put them in place. When we got wind of Terry's plan, we said no way. Chickens? Yes. Goats? Rabbits? Possible but not probable. Pigs? No. But Terry kept working away at us, and we came around, and we ended up with 2 pigs. The pigs became a family... Oh, shouldn't have done that. The pigs became There we are. The pigs became a family affair. They were our edible pets. Mom and Dad bought a small freezer for their share of the meat. George and Laurie already had one. We made a deal with Terry that he would tote home the pig feed from Buckerfields. There's another story there. In exchange for space for his half in the big deep freeze of ours in our basement. When the pig man delivered our piglets to the upper field, Mom and Dad were there to welcome them, along with Terry and Jerry and myself. We had a heck of a time getting them down to the pig shed, and Mum, she's a country girl, was prodding them along with her toes. She said, "Look at this cute little feller. He's hairy. We'll name him Harry after my brother Harry." And then she said, "We'll name the other one Bunny after my brother Bunny." My mother had spoken. Harry and Bunny is who they were. The pigs were good pets. They were good-natured, and they loved to have Jerry scratch their backs with a stick. We all enjoyed them. They grew from little porkers to 300-pounders in 12 weeks, and they were delicious. Now let me try and scroll up and see if I can get it. Yeah, okay. Oh, no. Oh, it went too far. Oh, where was that? Here we go. Mom and Dad are gone now, and Terry is living in their little house 2 blocks up the back lane from Teresa's place, where I'm living in her basement suite. Laurie and I go up to Terry's for a sleepover every second Wednesday evening and to catch up on the latest episodes that Terry saves for us of mountain men and the Alaskan bush people and the Alaskan frontier and sometimes gold rush. Neither Laurie nor I have televisions. Last month, Terry got a new bathtub installed, a sparkling white one, to replace the old worn-out blue one that was so old it must have been put into the house when the house was first built. Laurie and I were up there last night, and this morning, while I was showering in Terry's shiny new bathtub, I remembered Harry and Bunny. The new tub came with a surround, one that has shelves in the corners, and Terry doesn't go for doodads, so the shelves in one corner are still bare. I thought what Terry could use in here is a couple of ceramic piggies. Coming from me, how could he refuse? Now I've got a break in my text here, but I think I'm going to carry on, put it all in one cut here. Here's where my pig story takes a turn. This morning early, I walked down to the harbour with Laurie. This was the following day from when I was just writing. She wanted something from London Drugs in Port Place before she went to work. Then I walked around the seawall and up and home to drop off my overnight bag and to get into a lighter jacket because the frost in the grass was melting and the sun was out. And I walked over to Harewood to see if I might find a little pair of pigs on their doodad shelf in there in Value Village. On one of my bathroom shelves, I have a tiny pair of fat white geese with blue ribbons around their necks. They have holes in their chests for the salt and pepper to shake out of, but if I arrange them in a certain way, the holes don't show. My pair of pigs, were waiting for me at Value Village. They were sitting 18 inches from the start of the first shelf I came to. Remember, I've been practicing manifesting, right? I'll tell you, it's working. Sometimes. They were hairy, and they had impish expressions, and they were smiling up at me as though they were enjoying the joke with me and were eager to be on their way. But they were much bigger than I thought they would be. They were ceramic, or it seemed like ceramic, but they were solid and so heavy that later on the way home, I had to keep switching my quilted cloth tote bag from one shoulder to the other. I think they'll have to sit on Terry's counter, because I think they could crack those plastic corner shelves in the surround. They're so heavy. At Value Village, I set the 2 pigs down on the jewelry counter so I could text Laurie at work, because we had been talking about manifesting on our way down to the harbour. While I was texting, and while I was still feeling all a-twitter with the excitement of my find, some words jumped out at me from the ceiling. What a wonderful feeling. It was a song. Watching the wonder. A few minutes later at the checkout, these words jumped out at me. Yep, you're not dreaming. This was an ad. And went on, then it said, aren't you glad you're not dreaming? And as I went out the door, another sound came on, said, all the bells are ringing. So I thought that was kind of cute. And that's about it for my pig story. And then I say, when am I ever going to get this all typed out? Oi, because I write in my bedside book first, and then I type it out. And I say, I don't know what's going on here, but I'll tell you one thing, my friend. If this is the way the game of life is meant to be played, I am playing the game. And that's all for now. We're up to, 11 minutes? That's not too bad. Find my yellow button here and say goodbye. Catch you later. Oh, no, I gotta get over to this screen. Okay, bye for now.